Hey guys, welcome back to Clownfish TV. This is Neon. I am here with Geeky Sparkles.
Hello.
And Warner Brothers Discovery is a dumpster fire. Actually, analysts are calling it a dumpster fire. They're going to have to cut back even more than they have already to get to profitability.
Well, from my understanding, they were just like, everybody was in there doling out money right and left, and you get a show, and you get a show, and you get a show, and it didn't matter if it more mattered about like optics than it mattered about actual performance.
Yeah, so if you want to put this in perspective, check out the video we did yesterday about Crunchyroll. Okay, in that video, because Crunchyroll's laying people off. Now, they're no longer owned by Warner Brothers, but their San Francisco office was built on Warner Brothers dime. And it's very posh. It's very elaborate. It is way nicer than most of the actual anime studios producing the content. And they were free spending. Everything I heard from people in Hollywood is
people that knew, people that were there.
People that were in the know is that Warner Brothers basically would give their executives blank checks and they would go out and just, spend. David Zaslav comes in with the merger and he's like, oh my God, we got to start cutting. Now, what they've been cutting, I think is questionable because they've actually been cutting a lot of shows that I thought were pretty popular. They've been ending stuff like Westworld. They were just pulling the plug on that and they were pulling content off of HBO Max. Now they're kind of dumping it on Tubi to get ad revenue from it, but they're also using it as a write-off. Movies that are 95% done, like Batgirl and Scoob 2, they just dump them, but
we get more Velma.
But we get more Velma, right? So I don't know what the logic is, or if they just have all these shows on like a freaking dartboard.
I was gonna say it's a dartboard.
Yeah, they're just like, all right, we'll keep this one, sell that one, keep. I don't know what's going on.
Whatever it hits gets to stay. Velma, okay.
Yeah, so we talk a lot about cartoons and animation on this channel, and I'm going to tell you this is not good for animation fans because animation is expensive. Warner Brothers, of course, owns Cartoon Network and Adult Swim, and I don't see things getting any better anytime soon.
No, just keep bringing over shows that already existed.
Yeah, probably.
Yeah.
So anyway, let's talk about all this. This is an article from The Wrap. Before we get into it any further, please subscribe for more pop culture news, views, and rants, guys. Over 295,000, almost 300,000 subs. Thank you so much for the support. We have been chronicling the demise, the slow death of Warner Brothers Discovery. And at first it was like, okay, this is going to be a good thing. Zaslav's going to come in. He's going to get them profitable. He's going to cut the dead weight, cut the stuff that doesn't really matter. And then it became apparent that they're just tossing everything overboard.
But ironically, the one they're noticing we're going to do a video on it, the Hogwarts Legacy, and they're going to double down on that allegedly. Yeah.
So we're going to talk about Hogwarts Legacy and Harry Potter and the future of that. That is what's profitable. And this article does say that they want to actually look at their IP catalog and double down on things that are profitable. Apparently they have like an all ages Scooby-Doo show or something that's coming out now after Velma, which I'm like, what? What are you?
They had an all ages Scooby-Doo show. It's called Scooby-Doo.
It's called Scooby-Doo, right? Warner Brothers Discovery faces mountain of debt on road to profitability. This is coming from The Wrap. As the media giant prepares to report fourth quarter earnings, CEO David Zaslav has to prove he can cut costs and squeeze more money out of every show. Zaslav used to charm Wall Street. Now he's running a debt-laden media company that one observer described as a dumpster fire.
Ooh.
A dumpster fire. Just how hot things are getting for the Warner Brothers CEO will become clear after it reports fourth quarter earnings on Thursday. That'd be today, probably end of day. Zaslav's third outing as the combined company's chief.
Well, then they have the decisions they're making over at DC, and they're very questionable.
I am really wondering what's going to happen to DC.
Well, they're saying
not
that
just the movies.
The Aquaman screenings aren't doing well. I mean, I didn't see them. I'm just saying what people are saying. They're really bad.
Well, they thought Black Adam was going to be the one that rebooted and revitalized the DCEU, and it turned out to be a disaster at the box office. It did okay the first weekend, but then it just didn't work. Nobody seems to know what's going on. Nobody's really excited about anything James Gunn has announced. And it's all over the damn place. It's basically James Gunn's pet projects and a couple of other things. And that's, but we got to do Superman, Batman because that's expected. So Superman, Batman, James Gunn's pet projects, and some random stuff like The Authority, which doesn't make sense with the DCEU anyway because that was Wildstorm. So they said the competitive pressure to scale up and compete with Netflix drove AT&T to spin off Warner Media and combine it with Discovery, creating a film and TV giant with bulked up streaming library, most of which they freaking sold off.
Yeah, it's another
canceled.
places.
Even as the deal got done last year, investors were already changing their tune. Profitability, not growth or scale, is the watchword now. That's every one of these streaming services.
Yeah, Disney's
Everybody
saying
spent
that too. They're focused on profitability now.
Zaslab's key priority on Thursday's earnings call should be laying out the debt-laden entertainment giant's road to profitability. So that's the thing. Everybody wants to, like, how are you going to make money? So this is so weird. Everybody had to take their ball away from Netflix, and they had to go home, and they had to go start their own streaming service. But nobody had a roadmap to how are we going to take the billions of dollars we're spending on content, and how are we going to make that profitable? Are we going to give people what they want?
People like us pointed out multiple times when this all started that we thought it was a bad idea, that it was going to be, it's going to be very hard to compete with Netflix. HBO Max and Disney Plus, I think, are closer to it than other places. But, it was going to be an uphill battle. And it's like, is it worth taking your stuff just to have your own streaming service? Or is that going to put people in the hole more? Is it going to be too many choices, too much for the consumer? The answer is yes.
Yeah, so all these newer streaming services have yet to become profitable and need to start showcasing when they will be to shareholders. Disney keeps saying 2024. I don't even know if I buy that. I mean, the only way they're going to be profitable, unfortunately, and it's a double-edged sword, they can be profitable if they stop spending so much money on content. The problem is you have to spend money on content to make your service worth subscribing to. Mm-hmm. And if you cut a lot of corners, especially on the kind of content that you've been peddling, which is a lot of, science fiction and effects-laden stuff and attracting big celebrities to do movies and all of that, and you cut back on that and just do a bunch of reality TV crap, people aren't going to subscribe. It's not worth it. And so, I mean, Disney's even talking about, like, we're gonna pace ourselves with Marvel and Star Wars. It's like, no, you're gonna pace yourself with Marvel and Star Wars because, one, you screwed it up with too much subpar content, and two, it's expensive.
Right.
And stuff HBO was doing was expensive. So they said they're expected to report a loss of 3 cents a share. So they're gonna be losing again. In December, Warner Brothers Discovery said it expected to incur restructuring charges of up to $5.3 billion, including up to $3.5 billion of content impairment and development write-offs. So that's when they started throwing shows overboard, writing shows off. The total was $1 billion higher than they gave in October for the restructuring effort. A lot of shows still getting canceled. They said it's going to be completed by the end of 2024. So there's a lot of stuff between now and then that they could still write off. And I don't think
they're going to have anything left.
I don't think they have anything left. I'm thinking, like, all the stuff they made a big deal about, like, even like they approached us when they first started HBO Max. Now this is under a different regime, but with animation, they were pushing animation. They had Close Enough. They actually sent us, if you go back and check, they sent us an elaborate box for Close Enough. We did this big unboxing, and same with HBO Max. They sent us a whole bunch of swag and all that money they spent, but they were putting all this money into this expensive content. And now they're just like, yeah, okay, just cancel it all and throw it on Tubi. We're going to write all this shit off, and they're betting on The Flash. And the thing is, I think The Flash is going to make money because of Michael Keaton's Batman, not because of Ezra Miller.
Everybody keeps seeing it. They're like, there's all these memes out there where they're showing everything else and people don't care, but Batman, they're like, oh, and that's just it. People are going to go because of Batman. Yep.
So they're like, how is the company looking to optimize the monetization of existing IP to compete with Netflix and others? I cannot wait until somebody, and they're probably not going to be allowed to ask the question, somebody asks them, what the fuck were you thinking with Velma? You have Scooby-Doo, which is money in the bank, but you canceled Scooby-Doo movies. You canceled, other series, whatever, and you doubled down on Velma. What the fuck were you thinking, David? And he'll be like, blah, 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 shareholder value, blah, 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 The Flash is a good movie.
I think it was already going before he got there.
So they're talking about cutting costs with Westworld, Love Life, The Nevers, and Squid King's favorite show, which is actually Raised by Wolves. They're dumping them onto Tubi, and they're calling it the fast licensing push. Is that like fast cash or something? Is that like going to like one of these debt consolidation places, like a fast cash loan?
I don't know. It just seems like they're trying very hard to offset their debt. And they overspent before he got there, and now they're trying to find any way they can to sell off stuff. Lease stuff.
I think they're just trying to prepare people for the worst. I think what's going to happen is I think the earnings call is going to be a disaster. And I think there were going to be a lot of questions because they're already talking about, getting more from consumers and advertisers. We talked about that, the advertising tier. You're taking content away, but you want people to pay, what is HBO, like $18 a month or something?
Yeah, it's ridiculously high.
They said the investors are going to want to know more about their newer offering, the advertiser-sponsored offering, and the timeline for its rollout. Anyway, it's going to be really interesting to see what happens during this earnings call. I don't think it's going to go well. I don't think they have a plan. I think it's very obvious they don't have a plan with DC. It's very obvious they don't have a plan with Cartoon Network. They're canceling stuff like crazy. I don't think there is a plan. I honestly thought Zaslav was the guy with a plan when he came in, and I was wrong. I don't think there is one. I think at this point they basically they walked it back. They were going to merge HBO Max and Discovery together, and they're like, we're going to have one big streaming service. This is going to be awesome, guys. And now they're not doing that. There is no plan.
Doesn't seem to be, no.
And I think it's going to become apparent to investors, and I am wondering if they're not going to just bundle the damn thing up and sell it.
Well, that's what I'm thinking. That's what I was going to say. They're trying to cancel out debt, to get rid of debt. And you would do that if you wanted to offload it, because they're not doing enough to promote new stuff and to make themselves a big deal. Basically, it seems like they're just trying to offload the debt and shrink itself down to its packaged not to be sold. That's how it comes across.
Yeah, and that might have been the plan all along. He's only in here for a couple of years just and look, I've been in companies like that where they do it, but there's not going to be much left to sell. If they don't do something here really quick, there's not going to be much left to sell. So I'm really interested to see what's going to happen with DC Comics, because it doesn't really bring any value. And
all could be turned around if they made better choices. Like all of this could be turned around tomorrow.
Yeah.
If they just walk back certain choices and they refuse to do it. So that's why I think they're trying to sell it.
Well, same with the cartoons. Cartoon Network at its peak had some great IP that they're still trying to strip mine now, like the Powerpuff Girls and all that. And all you got to do is put the right people in charge, greenlight the right shows, but you spent years greenlighting the wrong stuff, which failed miserably financially. Maybe
because you had a lot of people in positions that were more activists than they were, capitalists.
Yeah, and here we are. So now you're looking to make money, and you bet on activists for how many years? And good luck with that. But we'll let you know how things go. We're going to do another video on Hogwarts Legacy. That's coming up after this one. We're going to wrap it up.
Yep.
Please subscribe for more pop culture news, views, and rants, guys. We'll talk later.
Bye.